Also, it takes a whole group of us to make this one specific day happen each month. And we have the beautiful Tiffany online. She is our Zoom coordinator, and she kept us going all through COVID, hosting our meetings online. So we want to thank her. She is the owner of Lone Orange, and she can help you with. Tiffany, why don't you share just a little bit what you do?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, as Missy said, my name is Tiffany Huckelman. And actually what I do for my business is I help solopreneurs grow their businesses beyond themselves. So focusing on branding and really getting your identity clear, and then helping systematize that business so that you can grow and grow a team and have much bigger impact, help more clients, and live that business of your dreams.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Right. Is that all?
Right.
Then we have our technical support here in CPW, Isaiah Bentley, who is in the back there. He helps Heidi and us keep all the sound and everything going. Isaiah, you want to give a little shout out for your business? Allegro?
Yeah. So pretty much the AV is what I specialize in, but I also do DJ services, as well as I've got photo booth rentals as well.
And that ice thing, the smoke.
Oh yeah, that's the dancing on the cloud machine. Yeah, that one is really exciting.
Isaiah the Magnificent.
I think it's because she's behind on moving it forward. Yeah. Tiffany's controlling online. All right. Next, we have sponsorships every month. So if you are interested in doing that, it's just a contribution. You get to stand up and share about your business. It's a great way to introduce yourself to the community. So we encourage all of our members and guests, if they are interested in doing that, to reach out to Karen directly, and we will get you set up to do that. You get Facebook announcement online, and we just share you with our community. Next is our social media moment. So huddle together at your tables, post online on Facebook, and let everybody know what you're doing and share. And these are our hashtags. So take that opportunity.
Sheva, would you be willing to take a picture of us and post it for me?
Oh my.
Michelle, are you able to get on camera real quick?
Yeah,
Sorry,
absolutely.
Rebecca, coming right behind. Oh no, you're good. I didn't say I was coming behind you.
Okay.
Hi.
Awesome. Thank you.
Jody. Yes. Hi, I'm Missy.
Hi,
Nice to meet you. Oh.
All right. Well, they're doing that. Michelle, I'm trying to figure out how I can get your link to the people in the room. You don't have like a shorter link or anything, do you?
I have a QR
Good
code.
catch.
I'm not sure how to get that to you.
I actually see it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out how to get it to them. But let me see if they can maybe share their, I don't know. I just think there's a lot of people in the room might be really interested in your summit. So I want to, if they want it, I want them to get it.
Sure.
Let me just see if I can get that to them. That might be a little bit more than we can handle in the meeting, but we'll see. We'll try it.
Okie dokie, everybody. Yes. All right, everyone. I gotta read. Okay, we are going to get into the getting to know you. This is your opportunity to meet and connect with those at your table. You will have 60 seconds to share. And I am going to just give you an introduction. You have a little sheet on your paper so you can follow along on there. I am Missy Coleman. I own Sage Skincare Solutions down on the hill. I am also the host and producer of a radio show called Sage Advice with Melissa. My company specializes in skincare of all needs. We have anti-aging, acne, and a body line, and just everyday skincare. I am looking for partnerships and connections with med spas and dermatology offices. In my professional life right now, the only thing I need to do is purchase products for the upcoming year. In my personal life right now, I have to say I'm very good and don't need a thing. And in the next 60 days, like I said, I am going to be purchasing products. And my big dream for my company is to start a nonprofit with the shipping division of my company and utilize that for women that are in need coming out of incarceration and build that into the business and be that company in the community giving back in some capacity. So that's a little bit about me. We're going to turn it over. Your heads of the table. Ned, you get to be the head of the table. We're going to let Tony be the head of the table then. So your heads of your table will start. They'll keep everybody on track. Heidi is going to let you know when a minute is up and move on to the next person. And we will let you have, again, a minute each. And I think it'll probably be roughly about 5 minutes. I don't think we have more than 5 at a table right now. All right. So happy connecting.
All right. So I think we can talk. They can turn us down if they can still hear us. All right. So ladies, let's go ahead and connect. Who would like to start? I put the script is up on your screen. I put it in the chat, and there is a downloadable PDF if you wanted to. Who would like to start?
I don't mind.
Go for it, Catherine. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Catherine Frazier. Actually, I work for myself. I am in transition. I've had my own business for last 20 years, including bed and breakfast and consulting firm. I do professional development, leadership development. I specialize mostly in leadership development, one-on-one coaching. Actually, in my transition, I'm looking for connections, simply women who are would like to connect and
Time
just
to move on to the next person at the table. Time to move on to the next person at the table.
Okay, go ahead, Catherine.
Pardon?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. In my I just finished the National Speakers Association Speakers Academy. What I'm looking to do is to become a speaker, have a book I've written a book. I'm just regrouping it based on hybrid and work from home experiences. And so once I get the book finished, I hope to do major speaking in organizations. I'm just looking for an accountability partner who's interested or who's writing a book as well. So thank you.
Sounds like today will be a good day for you. Awesome.
Yes.
Thanks, Catherine. All right.
Thanks.
Michelle, how about you? You ready to share?
I am. So I'm Michelle Edwards. I call myself the Alchemy Love Coach at Your Human Being, which is my little company. I specialize in, well, I'm a love coach, so relationships, but also helping people be more open-hearted in the world. That's kind of like a side effect of my coaching.
All right.
I'm
It's
really
time
looking
to move on to the
for
next person at the
community
table. Time to move
and
on to the next person at the table.
And in my professional and personal life right now, I just need to get through the next few days as gracefully as possible. I'm good otherwise. And a dream I have is just being a positive force in the world and bridging the gap to world peace.
Awesome. Who are you looking to collaborate with? Anybody in particular that you know would be a good fit?
You know, anyone really that's like a heart-centered leader, and because I probably will have another summit in the future. But also specifically with people that's anything to do with either the dynamics of relationships in some way, shape, or form, or people who are interested in doing some form of chakra work, because I have a side class that's for that.
Okay, awesome, cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Very good, thanks, Michelle. All right, Sheva.
Hi, everyone. I have a business called Perfuming Intentions, and I'm an
It's
aroma
time
artist.
to move on to the next person at the table. Time to move on to the next person at the
So-
table.
So with my all natural handmade small batch perfumes that I create, I help people balance their chakras and create focusing tools and help them achieve their dreams by having an anchor to what the vision board for their nose is. And I am looking to partner with people that are interested in chakra work and a place where I can do my aroma readings, which reveals your body's intuitive wisdom, and by using these aromas. In my professional life, I'm needing a location change, and probably trying to look more online in how to spread the word about the power of the sense of
All
smell.
right, let's move on to the next or last person at the table. Hopefully everyone is gone. It is time to move on to the next or last person at the table.
Tiffany,
I love it. So it sounds like there could be some connections being made. I don't know, Sheva and Michelle, if you know each other, but that could be a perfect connection. Yeah.
I love
And
that.
even Catherine, I don't know if you saw it in the chat, Michelle said she'd be interested in being an accountability partner starting next week. So make sure you grab that. Do you see that, Catherine?
I do. And
Okay,
so I could
good.
reach Michelle at yourhumanbeing@gmail.com.
Yes.
Great.
Perfect. Good. All right. So quickly, my name, and I already said my name is Tiffany Huckleman. Lone Orange is my business. I already told you what I do. I'm in the process of kind of relaunching how I show up in the world, kind of simplifying things and offering all my trainings in a vault kind of format to solopreneurs, and then their kind of chosen level of support from a mastermind all the way to private coaching and group coaching and that sort of thing. So that'll be coming hopefully in January. And so right now in my personal life, I actually am feeling pretty balanced and ready for the holidays right now, which is awesome. But I wish I was a lot further along in the
All right,
rebuild
hopefully
of the
everyone
business.
is gone.
And
I think,
so,
Missy, we're
just the
going to
next
come back to
60 days
you
looking
now, aren't
forward
we?
to it. Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, Michelle, your Cheva's information's in the chat as well if you are interested in connecting.
Okay. All right. We'll have plenty of time to chat after.
All right, thanks, ladies.
Yes. All right, everybody. If you have any suggestions for anybody at your table, there are cards on the table that you can give those connections and references to write those out. Okay. Heidi, or you want me to talk about this first and then we'll share? Okay. Another opportunity to share and get feedback about any dream or business idea that you have is our Dream Tank. It is an opportunity to share about a business you're thinking about or a business you are needing some help or suggestions or direction. This is a great way to do that and share with the community. You can reach out to Karen Hoffman if you're interested in doing that, or even know someone that might need a little support from a community to help them with their business. So our Dream Tank is that opportunity. Next, I'm going to turn this over to Heidi. We have Michelle Edwards online who has an event coming up, and we're going to share that with everybody.
This was just brought to my attention, so I'm putting it there on the screen. It looks like Michelle Edwards is having a summit December 15th to the 18th. I see Barbara Joyce up there as one of the speakers. I know Candace Cox has been part of the community as well. This might be a great event for you guys to attend if you have time. Michelle's on Zoom. Can we turn up Zoom? Does Michelle want to maybe talk a little bit about it? Oh, Tiffany, is she on?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so the impetus behind this is just really, it's been a rough few years for all of us, and especially those heart-centered givers like the people in this room. And, you know, how can we restore ourselves to not only like benefit our own lives and relationships, but also the work that we do in the world? So this is just really self-nourishment in all aspects of life, to deepen those practices for ourselves, to impact the people that we work with, to impact our relationships, and to impact this relationship with ourselves. So I called in all these people, and it's really amazing how it's all kind of coming together, and it's my very first summit, so yay.
So there's the QR code up on the wall for you guys in the room. So if you want to scan that QR code real quick, if you are interested, otherwise you can find it on Michelle's Facebook page.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing, Michelle.
I thought
Thank you.
I thought it was perfect for this room. So I was like, we need to get that out to the group.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Thank you so much.
All right, so this is our annual authors panel that we do every December. And today we have three amazing people, two of which I know, and I find them absolutely fabulous and interesting to listen to. First on, we have Aneezer Lane. And Aneezer, Lady E is how she is known and referred to, is a woman of faith and love with a passion for empowering and depositing value into the lives of others. For over 40 years, Lady E has found joy in being a source of transformative inspiration to countless young ladies coming into womanhood, as well as women of all ages. At present, the uncompromising multi-hyphenate is touching audiences with her ever-growing empowerment organization, workshops, mentoring, and training tools. Lady E is the founder of Imagery International Movement, a not-for-profit women's empowerment organization launched with the purpose to encourage, and empower girls and women of all ages. As an accomplished teacher with the ability to communicate with people from all walks of life, regardless of rank, Lane is renowned for her Lady E is renowned for her candidly inspiring messages of hope, victory, and faith. Lady E's ability to empower is rooted in experience, countless obstacles she has overcome in life, which allow her to relate and reach those who are going through similar circumstances. Lady E is a champion for women, adding value by challenging mindsets, expanding beliefs, and uplifting and encouraging women to rock their moxie. I love that statement. I love when you use that. She is also a proud certified coach, speaker, and trainer with the Maxwell Leadership Team, offering master classes in coaching for individuals and organizations in growth, leadership, and life. Lady E's gifts is singing and songwriting. As a gospel recording artist, you've not sung for us that I know of. Well, we need to hear that. Have resulted in 5 sound recordings, which have inspired and uplifted the hearts of thousands. Lady E has garnered many awards and accolades and has traveled extensively throughout the United States, England, and South Africa as a performer. To add to Lady E's accomplishments is the release of her first book, Surface Deep: The Evolution of You, which was released in September of 2022. Congratulations. Next on our panel, we have Jody Grizzle West. She is the founder of Amazing Gracie's Legacy. Jody leads a full life, both as a Mary Kay sales director and a real estate investor. She is a mother of teenagers and wife to an entrepreneur husband that travels. She is also an author and founder of a nonprofit. Amazing Gracie's Legacy was created in May 2016 in honor of her late daughter, Gracie Lynn West. Gracie impacted the world in a huge way, inspiring and encouraging others to be their best. Jody knows what working families go through with a special needs child. She had the freedom and flexibility to never leave Gracie's side. She realized not all families have the same ability. With Gracie's passing, Jody took the energy and love spent on Gracie to support and serve other families. Jody wanted to continue Gracie's impact to encourage and support others to live life with grace, the tagline of the organization. The mission is to make a difference in the lives of families affected by the critical care needs of one or more of their children, serving families previously able to provide for themselves before critical care was needed, who no longer are able to due to unforeseen health circumstances. AGL supports the needs not covered by existing programs that are of an urgent nature or serve a purpose otherwise unmet. It is our goal to support these families to maintain a balanced family unit where all members' needs are met. Welcome, Jody. I should probably have had them all come up and sit at the panel before I started this. So come join me up here and I will showcase Mr. Ned. Last but not least, I can't share about you. It's quite fabulous. Yes, I'm going to share. All right. Miss Lady E, are you coming up? Okay. All right. Yeah, put you in the middle of the fabulous ladies. Exactly. All right. Ned Lips believes that it is never too late or too difficult to reset your life. His mantra is simple. Do what you know in your heart of hearts is right for you, and you will find your path to joy. In 2016, at the age of 56, Ned dedicated himself to his lifelong passion, becoming a professional writer. He joined a number of organizations dedicated to the art form, read vigorously, attended lectures by accomplished writers, and most important, he began writing in earnest. Ned published his first novel, Reset, in December of 2018, the prequel, First Steps, in the spring of 2019, and completed the series with Entwined and Parasite by the end of 2021. This series follows life of Sarah, from beaten wife, torn from her promising career goals, trying to protect her two daughters from her alcoholic husband through a mysterious storm that removes everything man-made from the face of the earth and provides Sarah with special capabilities in this new environment. How will she help over 100 people survive, cope, and grow as a community when faced with the numerous perils of a world for which modern humans are ill prepared? In addition, Ned has published 3 other standalone novels. Freed explores the power of love between a surviving husband and his deceased wife. Loretta was inspired by the unique capabilities of a very special young woman. In the book, she saves her world from an evil attempting to cross over from the ethereal netherworld. Dangerous Prey is his newest novel, was also inspired by an actual woman. The hero detective, Lieutenant Daniela Garcia, must recover over 30 children kidnapped from her city while dealing with her own addiction to sex. Ned is a dedicated husband to Barbara and father to 2 successful daughters. As his wife introduces him, he's a recovering attorney, entrepreneur, and real estate investor who is determined to become the next great author. So welcome, all 3 of you. And Heidi is going to maintain the clock back there, so just keep an eye on her. You'll each have about 10 minutes to share about your story, how you became a writer, what it's like being a writer, and then we'll ask questions for those that might be in process of writing, maybe looking to write, all those fun things. So don't start with you. All right, Ned, you're on the chopping block.
Ned will need your microphone, Missy.
Oh, yes.
Really, but
So
you
the
guys-
people on Zoom.
I gotta yell across wherever they are. Yeah. So as mentioned in my bio, I've been writing. I have a couple boxes of stuff that I've written since high school, which I dragged out the other day and began sorting through. This is trash. This is okay. This is trash. And I decided I really wanted in 2016 that I wanted to really dedicate myself to being a writer. I wrote my first full book, which was a silly book called The Complete Guide to Guys, which has since been renamed a number of times and is very inappropriate. So it's never been published, but people who read it think it's funny. But I did, so I've been doing this for a long time. I've always believed that you should follow your dreams, but as most of us operate in our lives, I haven't always done it. So I decided finally that I was in a place where I could and began writing. Stories come to me. I am clearly a novelist. I probably have something in my brain that I could do on a nonfiction basis based on my career in life, because all of us have been through a lot in life, but I decided that wasn't where I wanted to go. And so I write stories. For whatever reason, I'm dedicated to the idea of writing stories with female heroines, which is redundant. All heroines are female. But I have two daughters. It was important to me when I first started writing to have a female hero who would behave. So most of the like Marvel female heroes, super whatevers, are just men turned into females. They don't really do things the way females do things. Women solve problems like this. They get together and we talk and have conversations. Men run out and stop the bullets by themselves, right? And maybe they have a sidekick they drag along with them, but otherwise we tend to be loners. So I wanted Sarah to be that kind of hero. So Sarah has certain capabilities that are unique, but she can't do this. She can't save this group without the rest of the women and men in the group that have survived this crazy storm that comes through and takes away everything man-made from the face of the earth. So literally, if that happened right now, we'd be sitting on dirt or grass, no clothes, no cell phones, no cars, no ways of getting anywhere. And you'd have to figure out, where are my kids? Where is my family? Where are the people that I care most dearly about? So of course, that's the first thing that comes to her mind, is how is she going to get to her two daughters who are at a school some 10 plus miles away. So she and her two daughters are capable of living on their own in the wild. They've done this sort of thing. So she's sort of in her element, and she's got to take care of a whole bunch of people who absolutely are not. So that's the nature of the Reset series. And there are 4 books. First Steps is prior to it. Reset, Entwined, and Parasite finished the whole story. I love it, and people seem to like it. All of you have Entwined, which is the second book. It also happens to be the book that our gracious leader, Karen Huffman, wrote. On the back, if you look at the back, she wrote the little thing for it, the little blurb. You've seen it before, I think. So that is yours. And if you'd like to find anything back there. Loretta, a lot of my books also come from inspiration in real life. So Loretta is a story of a young woman whose name is Loretta, who is developmentally disabled. She didn't take her first step by herself until she was 17 years old. She's mentally challenged, but she has an amazing ability to walk into a room and find the person who is emotionally struggling, excuse me, and brighten their life immediately. I love Loretta.
Is she who I think she is?
I don't know, Alana Trepler's daughter. Mhm. And she is, so this is a story I just took that she also has a very good friend who no one else can see. But she struggles to speak except when she's talking to her friend. When she speaks to her friend, she's very clear in her speech, which is fascinating to see. So this is a story that I just took and extended, all cleared by Alana. So, you know, Alana, and so she likes the book and helped me, you know, be comfortable with portraying Loretta the proper way. So that is what Loretta's about. Dangerous Prey is inspired by a woman that I met through Facebook, never met her in person. But for whatever reason, she decided to share with me some of the challenges that she has. She is addicted to sex, and she can't form effective love relationships because if whoever she's with is not around and she is exposed to someone who turns her on, if you will, she can't help wandering. It's as if it's no different than being addicted to heroin or whatever. It's the chemicals that are released when she has sex that her body craves. She's diagnosed and everything, you know, and it's the hard part about it is it's not like, oh, I'll just stop heroin and eventually it'll go away. How do you say I'm never going to have sex again? Right? It's like people who are addicted to food. You know, how do you say I'm never going to eat food again? Well, obviously that's not an option. So it was an interesting thing to write about and to understand and learn about. It's rare, obviously. But then I just built that into this character of Daniel Garcia, the detective, and her issues and how she solves this kidnapping and all the stuff that she goes through. So the real Daniela, really likes it. So hopefully it's properly portrayed. Freed was inspired by two articles I read once, didn't write. One was about, it was the story of this guy, this husband. This is actually fairly well known, but his wife died after years and years after she struggled through cancer. And within about 6 or 7 months, he just wallowed into nothingness and eventually he passed away. And it made me think, do you think they had children, they had grandchildren, he had a promising career. And I said, would that be what his wife really would want for him? And so that was one piece. The second article I read about was this prostitute in Las Vegas who died. And when they went to her apartment, they found all these really advanced, complicated treatises that she had written. And she was brilliant, but she had left when she was 14, traveled to Vegas because she was getting abused by her father-in-law or whatever, stepfather, and got into this life of prostitution. And there was no way out of it for her. So the story is a combination of these two events and how these two end up getting together and freeing each from the tragedies of their past. So I have fun with that kind of stuff. Most of my novels aren't, you know, the kind of formulaic, repetitive stuff. They're always things that pique my weird brain, and then I turn them into a story. I have several women, 15 actually, different women that will read my books in advance. Different ones read different books, which is nice. Karen was kind enough to read Entwined in advance and give me her thoughts, and then wrote the little piece that's on the back. She had also already read Reset. I believe you'd read First Steps too, but yeah. And so that is invaluable for me. I recommend that regardless of what you're going to write, have what they're called beta readers, people who are going to read your book and tell you when you're full of crap. straight up, or what's really good. You nailed this one. That's important to understand. Also, I recommend always have your books professionally edited by someone who knows what they're doing, and have your books professionally designed. Spend the extra money to make sure that's true. No one wants to read a book that has 5 typos on page 1. And that happens. I've seen that when you walk through book, things. So I'm out of time. If you have any questions, I'm happy to chat. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Spin the bottle.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, somebody else just had to start. I just didn't want to be the first one. I would say I'm the baby writer, author on this panel, and I don't know why Karen would want me to be up here. I'm not.
Don't doubt yourself.
I'm not doubting myself, but I knew that's what you all were gonna say. That's not what I mean. My book, Surface Deep, just came out. My first book just came out in September of this year. I'm sure there's a lot of things that I still have to learn. I'm sure there's a lot of things as time goes on that I will probably do differently, as I embark on the next book, because I'm pregnant again with the book. Her face. Yes. So when I said what I said before, I didn't know why she would ask me to be on the panel. I just said that because I know that there's so many more things for me to learn. And I'm taking baby steps. No, I just took a leap. So it's out there, and I'm especially proud of it. And I will say to everyone in here, if you're pregnant with the book, or if you aspire to be a writer, it doesn't matter how old you are, go for it and rock your moxie. Whatever amount of time it takes for it to get done, just persevere and stay the course, because that's what I did. I had, 1994, I had something that dropped in my spirit. I was working in nursing as a ICU tech, and I worked on the step-down unit from on the telemetry floor, which was step down from the patients in ICU after they had heart transplants, after they had we called them cabbages, so open heart surgeries. We also got the kidney transplants, and I was really, really good, and I just had this love for wound care. And what dropped in my spirit at that time was to write a book from a medical perspective of wound care. And I started researching. I started gathering things that, wow, this would be really cool. How many people have stage 1, 2, 3, 4 wounds, and all of that. But I never wrote the book. I did gather the information. I still have the information. So fast forward, life happened, and it kept happening and kept happening. And in 2016, I was walking in my house, and the first line of Surface Deep dropped in my spirit. And I just knew this was an inspired thought that I had to write down. And I went to my computer and I just started typing. And it says, "Do you remember the day you were born?" Now the question was like it was asked to me, and I'm thinking, no. Who remembers the day nobody remembers the day they were born. And before I knew it, I had written 2 paragraphs, a full paragraph, well, maybe 2. And it totally astounded me. I never saw myself as a writer. When I wrote my first song and my second and my 10th song, I was always surprised that I could write, because so much time had went by in my life that I didn't know who I was or what my capabilities were or the gifts that were in me that were unwrapped. And so I was tapping into me, and all of this goodness was oozing out, and it just blew me away, because in my mind, the definition of me was something totally different. So this is getting to the books, okay? Wound Care, the first book, that's the book, that's the baby, that's gonna be an elephant, I think. Because I've been pregnant with that one for a long time, but I ended up having to do Surface Deep first. I proceeded with Surface Deep because in the meantime, from 94 to 2022, all of these life things that has happened and lessons that I have learned, and because I am a helper and want to uplift people, I had to be able to pull it all in together. Now I understand why in 94, I got that divine revelation of Physician Heal Thyself. That's the name of the book that came to me at that time. And now with me releasing Surface Deep really is a setup for the real nitty gritty, because you have to be able, when you go to do surgery, you have to be in a position. When you do surgery, you cut the surface first, and you cut it layer by layer to get to the depth of what's going on. So Surface Deep is anatomical, physiological, chronological depiction of you, the evolution of you. And it goes from the day before you were born. It goes from the seed. It goes from when your daddy and your mommy did what they did, and the seed was you. The zygote was you. All of that was you. You went through a journey to even be presented to the world. You did that. And so that's what the book is about. And it talks about growth and development and all of those things. And I also incorporated, because everything I do is to uplift and to pour and to help people come out of really from between a rock and a hard place, and usually it has a lot to do with how you think, what you believe, what your perspective is in life. So that's what Surface Deep is about. I'm very proud of it. In this book, I was intentionally not complete in what I wrote, because I wanted the reader to complete their story in what I wrote. It's to ignite you to really think and go deep, from surface to deep. So the evolution of you. So be looking out. I'm already working on the next one. And Ned said something that I did have. I will tell you, in this process of doing this, at first, it took me from 2016 to 2022 to get this book out. And it's not thick. It's not even a whole 100 pages. But it took me that long because I didn't know what I was doing, okay? I did get some tips from Ned on Zoom, and Sally Raines. I spent some time with her. But what really helped me was I have a family member, my nephew, who is a writer. he is he does content for Meta, Facebook. He's been an editor of several magazines, and he's been writing since he could hold the pen. And he has a master's in journalism. And so God just said, look in your family. And I called him. He was happy. He's painfully honest. He's painfully honest. And so we still meet every week. Every week we meet, because Surface Deep is not just, oh, I did it and that's it. We're working on a workbook. I'm going to create a boot camp for Surface Deep, and a program that I can offer and sell to organizations that want to use this with the women or the people that are in their organizations, with the facilitators notes and all of that, and the workbook. So, but me getting Ronald was everything, because it made me be accountable. Now, everybody's different, okay? I rock my moxie by dancing to the beat of my own drum, meaning I do it when I get ready to do it, if I want to, whether you like it or not. Okay, I defy limits. That's the name of that's my brand. Defy limits, okay? I'm not governed. I'm governed by what's in here, but I'm not stupid, okay? So I knew that I needed accountability, and I would encourage you to get somebody to be accountable to, and to show up and be accountable. And if you don't do something, say, "Ooh, my bad, I didn't do it." But once you say something, try your best to keep your word to yourself. And that is how I finally got this completed this time. So I don't know what else. I'm done.
Right, there are, go ahead.
Write your book right now.
And that was something that she kept coming back to.
Mhm.
And I feel like that energy.
It did. It did. I'm sorry. I have to say that. I was trying not to talk too much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jody Griselle West. I wanted to first thank Karen for inviting me out here. I must admit that I had no idea really why I was coming out here. Kind of had a little bit of your thought of why is she asking me to come out and do this? I am a newly published author, yes, but I recognize two faces in the room and kind of had the same thought of, yeah, why? So forgive me, I'm going to try to address the purpose of the room, but I just came because Karen asked me and I like her. And I tend to do a lot of that in my life. I don't know. My husband was like, "What are you doing today?" I'm like, "I have no idea. Karen asked me to come out to Chesterfield, so here I go." So before I get started into me, I just wanted to say hats off to you, Ned, for being an inspiration, I think, to all of us in the room, that you just took that leap of faith and dove in. And I'm sure it wasn't necessarily easy, but you did it. And we all look up to you for that. And I can very much relate to a lot of what you said, and I'm so glad to meet you and look forward to talking to you. I have, I don't even know where to start. I have, but I do want to steal a title from you. I actually am the baby of the room in that my book just came out December 5th. Beat ya. I'm the newbie in the room. So I don't even know where to start. I have always been a writer. It was my therapy as a child to just write down all of my thoughts. So I have tons and tons and tons of journals in my attic, really. And my husband has always encouraged me and try to push me to just write that book. I have 1,000 books inside of me. I think that I don't know that anyone would want to read what I wrote way back when, but I know there's books inside of me. But, you know, we get busy doing other things, right? And so I did that whole, go to college, graduate, got the communications degree, went and worked at corporate, and then found myself as a Mary Kay sales director a few years later. Really had no intention of doing that, but that's another story for another time. And I realized that in all of this journey, God was preparing me for everything that he had in store for me. And I don't know if any of you have ever been in that moment, but so here I was, and my husband and I have been together for the bulk of 30 years and had 2 kids, lost 9 across the ages, but had 2 young little ones. And I was 43, and here we were, found ourselves pregnant again. Hello, happy April Fool's Day. So that's in the book. Anyway, the journey of that was she was here 17 months, but we were told at about 6 months that she wouldn't be here. And literally, God spoke to me like I'm speaking to you now, and you know about that. It's just in your spirit. And he said, don't listen to them. I'm sending you this child for a reason. And I never researched anything that they told me. I just kept telling them when they referred to her as an expired baby. I said, you can call her whatever you want to, but you might want to get ready because I have heard and I know she's coming. And so that was kind of the beginning of the story. And we had her for 17 months and then we lost her. We lost her April of 2016. And so the book was there. That book was there. And my grief therapy was to make myself so busy I couldn't think about anything. And 2 years ago, a good friend of mine that I know through Mary Kay, she called me. She had moved to Colorado, but she called me and she said, I thought she was calling me about something, Mary Kay. And she said, that book, it's time to write that book. And that was another whisper in my spirit. I didn't even know she knew that I wanted to write a book. I didn't know that we had talked about it. And so I did give her kudos in the book. Accountability is huge in writing. Because you can, even though your heart is there and your spirit is there, you can always find something to distract you. Life will distract you. And I know that if it wasn't for her every Thursday at 10 o'clock that we talked, I wouldn't be sitting here with you talking about a book that I had published. And it's good to set goals and it's great to have deadlines. Just know that sometimes you have to be flexible with that, because then it was a point of, I want to be a published author by the time I'm 50. And then you can't rush these things. And so my book was also, for me, ended up being a lot of grief therapy I didn't know I needed. So it probably did take me a little bit longer because I'd really have to sit on something. And you said, just say what it is. There were a lot of Thursdays I had to tell her I couldn't deal with it. I could not do that this week. I had too much other things. I could not wrap my brain around it. But then we got the book done and I said, now what? She goes, well, I just said I was going to help you write it. I don't know anything about publishing a book. And I'm like, well, I can guarantee you nothing's going to happen past this then, because I'm going to find plenty to do. So she said, fine, I'll hold your hand. And, you have choices in publishing. You can self-publish or you can get a publisher. I really sat on that for a minute. I had to make the decision to self-publish. I was led that direction because I'm the author of the book, but I really feel so spiritually led that I was the one typing, but it was being spoken through me. And I knew that the story had to be told the way that it was told. And I don't know if there's any publishers in the room, but I don't mean anything offensive, but I hear that they go in and they kind of can change things the way that they think will sell better. And this book wasn't about selling. It was about telling a story that was a journey of faith. And so some of your tips, I wish I'd have talked to you beforehand. So it just, Gracie's birthday, she would have been 8 on December 5th. And so I did rush and I knew it was the right timing because it wasn't about me. It wasn't about me turning 50 because now I'm 51. It was about the right timing. And there's just so many, I was just listening to the whispers and, yeah, I just launched it December 5th and, here we are. And I did have a good experience. I agree. I thought I was gonna, cause I have a communications degree and I have design in my background and all of that, but I turned it over and let somebody else design the cover. My daughter Gracie, the late Gracie, she did have some editing that she wanted to do with that, the first generation of design that they came, but they were great to work with. And yeah, so here it is. And now I'm telling you about it. And this is my first time talking to a group of people about the book. It's just really, I've sold quite a few of them, but it's all people that have been a part of her story. Her story kind of spanned the world actually. And so there's people that were very interested. I was blessed that they already knew the story. They just wanted to read it in print. So anyway, yeah. So it's exciting stuff.
Are there any questions for anyone in the panel?
Yes, that was what I was going to ask.
You can leave the microphone with the panel
Okay.
and I'll
that would
get them.
help.
Hi, my first question is for Ned. And Ned and I had the opportunity to do a podcast together, and I got to interview him a couple of years ago. And I have read the first one, Reset.
Yes.
And it's gripping, couldn't put it down, same things that Karen said, except I was bothered by them being naked the whole book. And I
You're
mean,
supposed to.
if they
just-
learned how to make tools, couldn't they learn how to make clothing? I mean, tools came first. Okay, no, I digress. I love that you brought up the guy's book to guys, okay? Because what's interesting about you is you're a large, successful man who went to writing and writes from a female perspective. And that alone is extremely interesting, right? And when we sat together and did the podcast, you talk about the guy's book to guys, and that was fascinating. And I just want to encourage you to pick that up and make that into something.
I keep doing that.
Because we need it. You know, I just finished a degree in women and gender studies, and the big overwhelming lesson was gender is a social construct. We construct what feminine and masculine is. That's what society does. We need to reconstruct masculinity, and we need you to do that.
So this book is extremely tongue-in-cheek. So it contemplates that the guide to guys, which is now called That Seems Right, because a guy friend of mine explained to me that is how guys evaluate everything. He told the story of we used to play on a baseball team together, and he was dating a rheumatologist who is an expert in joint pain and all that kind of stuff, right? So he said, well, I take 5 acetaminophen before I play and 5 Advil after I play. She said, no, you should take the Advil before because it's an anti-inflammatory, and then take the acetaminophen and Advil because that is just a pain reliever. And he goes, oh, well, that sounds right. And she said, of course it's right. It's what I do for a living. I have a PhD in this. And so that's the difference between the way the guys think and really smart people think. So the whole book is about that kind of thing. So I'm not sure how much masculinity actually works its way into this book. But anyway, thanks. I pick it up constantly and I play around with it. And yeah, it was written between 1995 and 2001. So it's questionable whether, yes, it's still relevant to the next generation of people, but yeah, it's fun. It was a lot of fun. Anyway.
So this question's for any of you. You mentioned something about it's a book of a story. It's her story. And even the people who know her and know her story want to pick it up and read her story. And I feel like we all have those moments where we may not necessarily aspire to be a writer, not saying I am or am not, but we all have things that we want to share or be a part of. But there's like that box or something that you're in, or it's already been done. This has already been written. There's already someone, a graphic designer. There's already I'm trying to look around. There's already tons of landscaping businesses. What makes me so special that my story needs to be said and define those audience. So it's also like the twofold, finding the confidence for your writing your story, living your story, but also finding your tribe of people who needs to hear that story.
I think we all have a response to that. Thank you very much for your interest. What I would say about Gracie, and a part I forgot to tell you, is that if you would have asked me going into this when she was diagnosed and we were told she probably wasn't going to make it, if she was here, it was never going to be normal, whatever that is, I would, right. I didn't think I had the strength. I did not think I had the capacity to go through something like that. Going through that story, everything that was spoken to me while she was in utero about why she was coming here is I watched this little girl who never weighed more than 13 pounds, who never spoke a word, reach in and touch people deep in their soul. I have boxes of boxes of letters from people who said, I don't know what it was about your little girl. I only interacted with her for a few minutes, but I woke up and wanted to be a better person. When I lost her, it was spoken to me, I needed to continue that. And so that started the nonprofit, but then there was the story there. I have something I share with all of my Mary Kay clients and gals that I coach. There is not one beauty. We all have our own individual beauty. I don't do cookie cutter makeup. Everybody has their, like, you are beautiful, but in a much different way than I am beautiful. We all have our own story. And there is an audience for every single one of our stories. And so as far as finding that audience, I had an established audience. How to take that beyond, Ned would be the answer to that, because I'm just coming to the party. But I hope that addresses some of the things that you were asking about.
You are, first of all, even if what you would want to write, if you wanted to write or be an author, what you have to say, even if other people are saying the same thing, what you have to say comes from you, and it comes out a different way. What I write about, you can find a lot of books about people getting to dig deeper within themselves and find my favorite line that I hear, and I say, how many versions is it? And they say, to be the best version of yourself. How many times have I heard that, but what you have is unique to you. It's like a fingerprint, and you're identified by that, and people who identify with you are the people that will come and that it will attract them to whatever the work, whether it's a book or something else. So just because other people are doing something doesn't mean that you say, oh, it's already done, because the inspiration that God puts in you is for you first, and then for you to put it out in the world. It's too many people in the world. Somebody's not hearing everybody else, okay? But somebody's gonna hear you. So, that's what I have to say.
And your story is fascinating. In just what I know. So it would be fun.
Yeah, we're gonna make you cry a lot, Jen. Let me
So,
just repeat.
Okay.
Can I just repeat the quote that I just read? You block your dream when you allow your fear to grow bigger than your faith.
So let me just give, I want to kind of reiterate some of the stuff I think you've heard, but I think you've heard from all of us that this comes from in here, right? Everything I write. So I believe that the divine, however you contemplate that term, speaks to you, to your soul, that your soul is directly connected and a part of the bigger soul that connects all of us to each other. Okay. And your story will come out onto the page if you just listen to yourself. You don't have to struggle to, I need to write something. Just sit down and listen to yourself, and the story will pour out onto the page. And what's interesting is when your soul has written as much as it wants to on the subject, it will stop in the middle of the story. Right. So that's okay. So I have 7, 8, 9 books that are partway finished because that's when it stopped. And so that's totally okay. So don't feel like you've got to sit down and write it in one moment. She took how many years? 6 years to do? How many take you 6 years to do? You know, it took me 2.5 years of really focused. One of the things that I did, you were talking about having a responsibility to yourself, is I sat down, I had the luxury of being able to sit down at 3 o'clock every single day, Monday through Friday. And that was when I wrote. I wrote for as long as I wanted once I sat down at 3 o'clock. Did my work in the morning, 3 o'clock I was done. And it was amazing at 2:30, no matter where I was sitting there talking to a client, all of a sudden stuff started flowing. yeah. It's like, and I needed to go home and get it down on paper. But I was like, my body, my brain, my soul, all we're getting together saying, it's time. God bless America. Go home and do this. So that's a way to think about doing it. But you're going to find your own methodology, but don't fight it. And don't worry about if it doesn't come out all chronological, because it won't. You may write the 3rd week of your story first, and then go back and realize I need to write this part. So originally, when I wrote First Steps, it was almost 300,000 words. A real book is maybe 85,000. So, but First Steps was in there, and most of Entwined was in there, and most of Parasite was already in there. And I had to then separate it. I had to get my scalpel out and separate it into the 4 books. And then I call it coloring it in, right? So you start out with this sort of relatively bare bones story that is the story. And then you tell me, what do the people look like? What does the environment look like? How are people feeling? What's their relationship to one another? What does that feel like? You know, and then you add in some fun little characters that add to the story and those kind of things. But I call that coloring in the story. So if you start with just getting it down on paper, and I say this to anybody, whatever it is you're going to write, just don't worry about it. Just let it flow out in whatever order it comes out, and then go back, get your scalpel out, and start figuring out what goes where, right? And so I've done that with all my books. I have people read them and say, this is stupid. I have entire scenes that I love that are sitting on my computer because they didn't fit. I love those scenes, and they're sitting over there. They'll never get used, but that's just part of it. It didn't. They may get used someday, they may in some manner, but right. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that this and that just came to me. I love this, but it doesn't work. And so don't fight this. Now, another important safety tip: don't write this to make money, because that ain't gonna happen. Right? It costs money to write a book and get it published. And you have to understand that. I am independently published. All my books are on Amazon, amazon.com/author/Nedlips, Nedlips, all one word. You'll find all my books there. And I have a website, nedlips.com, but it's easy to get them off on Amazon. But that all costs money. The marketing costs money. I don't write those to make money. I write them because, straight up, I write them because I have to. Right? They just start coming out, and I need to sit down and write the book. But I fear that. I never think, oh, this is going to cost me like $2,000. No, just write the book because you want to. If you ever publish it, I may never get that book that she loves published, but I have it to go read when I want to. So it's still there. It still makes me laugh, and I may sometime get around to do something with it. Yeah, sometime.
Okay, we have about 5 minutes left. Tony, I know you have a question, but I want to see Tiffany and Isaiah. Does anybody on Zoom have a question for any of the authors? Anybody with their
No,
hands
not at this
up?
point. Thank you.
Okay. Tony, I'm gonna let you finish with your question and then we'll move on.
That's a lot of pressure. Okay, so first I want to say thank you. Just like you two ladies said, you weren't sure what you're getting into, neither did I. And it's so funny. I'm like a landscaping contractor here listening to this, and it's just really moving, and I appreciate that you're here. So in my mind, any creative endeavor comes with it a level of vulnerability, and especially I would think with writing. And I can think of many different ways that would play out with just the fact that you're spending the time doing it, and that you have this dream that maybe people don't understand. And we've talked a little bit, Tracy mentioned fear and getting in the way of dreams and all that. I'm wondering maybe if you could speak about that a little bit, and how some of your relationships maybe were affected, positive or negative, by committing to what you've done.
So my relationships have all been fine with it, but
I'm imagining my wife.
Yeah, she's
Like, were I to want to write a book?
yeah.
That kind of question.
So all of my books are dedicated to my lovely wife, so I'm okay there. That was smart of me. But yeah, you always fear. I live with constant fear. And are any of these books actually any good? Or are just people who are nice and like me telling me they're good? Right? Blah, blah, blah. Of course, but I still wrote 7. So, and I've got more on the table. So you have to get through the fears. It's part of everything you do, whether you start a landscape business, start a consulting business, whether you're off doing something new, you left your blah, 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 whatever it is. It's part of life. And I agree with that quote 100%.
I appreciate your question and probably bring a slightly different perspective here. From my book is my life. It's my life. It's real people. There's over 50 people I talk about in the book. And so, yeah, there was some fear, and I hadn't really been thinking about that, but you're absolutely right. And I remember a conversation I had with Janice that helped me, push me to write it, is I said, I don't know if I want to say this. It's true, but I don't know if I want to say this. And she said, it's truth. You have to take the emotion of worrying about other people out of it. And that was really hard for me. And it's funny because Dr. Scalzo wrote the foreword to my book. And he wrote me a couple of pages of notes. That's just the kind of guy that he is. And he said, you made me laugh. You made me cry. He goes, I lived many of those stories with you, but was so glad to reread it. He said, he said one of the funniest things, now mind you, he spent 40 years at Cardinal Glen, and he said one of the funniest lines in your book is he said, when you went from Mercy to Cardinal Glen and you described it from leaving the Taj Mahal and going to the Best Western. True, I did say that, and I did feel that way, but I love Cardinal Glennon and I love a lot of people there. But those are kinds of things that I had to face. Like, that's the way I was feeling. It's what's in my spirit to say it and describe it that way. But, oh gosh, am I going to offend someone? And Janice, I was so thankful for her to say, don't worry about it. And I wrote this little Post-it and stuck it on my monitor, and it said, take that emotion out of it. It's a very emotional book. Now, so I had to think of it that from that perspective. My husband was very encouraging and would, encourage me to shut the door to my office and just lock myself away from all of my other responsibilities. And he's like, right until you're done for the day. And so I had nothing but support from that perspective. But I got to thinking of your question. Mine is like, I wrote about my actual life and things that happened. So it was scary to put it out there, but it needed to be told because, as I said, it was very hard for me. I had to deal with a lot of emotion that I hadn't dealt with. But I said, if one person is inspired or impacted in a positive way from reading this story, it was worth every effort that I put. It's not about selling it. It's about impact. And I delivered a book to a friend of my husband's on Saturday afternoon at 1:00 because I happened to be where he was going to be. At 10:30, he sent me a text that made me cry. And I said, mission accomplished.
So when you write your book, you will cry, you will laugh. Your own stuff will dredge that stuff up, and that will happen. You'll sit at your desk in your own room. It's crazy.
Vulnerability is a word that you used, and also about the people in your inner circle. I am blessed to have a husband that supports anything I want to do, and he's very proud of me. Never gets in my way, but sometimes I would feel he don't believe I'm really going to do it. He's just saying okay. I'm being honest, but then when I presented him with, after 6 years, I knew I was thinking that because I do what I want to do when I want to do it, and he figured, well, okay, she'll get it done. If she get it done, fine. If not, but he supports me with that. And he does believe in me. So I didn't have a problem with that. My son and the people in my inner circle were very supportive. But when it came to the vulnerability, it came to the fact that what was inside of me that needed to come out was my truth, was something that I'm passionate about, that a lot of people don't say what they cover, they fix the words, they dress up their words, and they just don't come out and say it like it really is. They're so busy trying to be politically correct. So in my book, I say something about punks, and my nephew said, well, why would you? He said, Auntie, I said it, I meant it. Punks will suck the life out of you. Say it the way it's supposed to be said, And so it's just a little line in there. I just snuck it in there because I snuck it in there so it can give you another perspective. But there was another part that my nephew, he said, whoa, Auntie. And I said, listen, if you're not going to tell the whole truth, you may as well go sit down somewhere. If you're going to cover things up and whitewash it, then people are not going to get the whole point. And I lived this. I had to overcome all of these obstacles to be able to write this book. So, but here was the thing. My mother, who had a lot to do with the issues that I had to overcome. And I never wanted to put this book out and make her feel ashamed or sad. I love her. And she was asking me, when is that book coming out? Where is that book? And I was like, that was the vulnerable part of me. But it was the truth, what I wrote. Now, I didn't tell everything, but I did talk about when it came to the census, the feeling I felt. I felt the pain and the sting of the ironing cord on my body. I felt that. That's a part of my journey. That became a part of my life. But it took guts. So if you have a message to get out, get your message out. And please don't take this the wrong way. My mother never got to read my book. She passed away October 20th of this year. So she never got to read the book. And I have to tell you, can I be honest? I exhaled about her reading that book because I just didn't want to hurt her. You understand? Because I love that 96-year-old lady. And there's other things that I want to put out that I haven't been able to put out because there's things she don't know, you know? And so the vulnerability, it's good, but I think truth is paramount, you know? So, but I think it's a wonderful thing to have people in your inner circle and knowing who's in your inner circle and that they are with you and that they are supportive of what you're doing. That means a lot. And that they believe in you.
Thank you, everyone. That was amazing. And oh, did somebody? Oh,
We're way past our time. So if they could put it in the chat and our authors can answer it on Zoom in the chat, would that be okay? Yeah.
okay. All right.
So I'm thinking we'll probably, if anyone needs to leave, because we are past our 10:30 mark and we have a few more slides to go through. I know Karen wants to speak as well.
Yes. So, all right. Thank you, authors. It was amazing to have you. Yes, you can return to your seats. Everybody, you can hang out afterwards and talk to them. Their books are at the back. Ned is shared on the tables. So, and he has all his other books back there with him. So you have plenty of opportunity to learn more. Okay, so since we are behind, we're going to take one opportunity for someone to share, you know, how Gateway to Dreams and or connecting and promoting women has changed your life, inspired your life. Is there anyone that would love to share? Anybody? Huh? Catherine.
Catherine. Go ahead and unmute, Catherine.
Okay, first I want to say hello, everybody. How many people are in the audience?
We have about 10, 15.
Well, I just have a message for those that are in the audience that if I'm in South Carolina and I prefer not to miss these meetings, where else would I be able to hear the 3 authors that we just heard and their stories? If you aren't a member of this group, I would recommend not missing meetings and also joining, because I'm in South Carolina and I'd love to be where you're sitting, but I have Zoom. So I'm just saying it's made a difference. I've been able to connect with people I wouldn't normally connect with. And if I sat at home where I was 70 miles away from you, I probably wouldn't have come. So I'm just saying, Karen and everyone involved, the leadership team, are providing an outstanding opportunity. And I just wanted to thank Karen, but also encourage those of you who are not members and maybe haven't come every time to come, because every opportunity is something missed if you stay home. So that's my comment this morning.
Thank you so much. And I believe, to hear the authors, if you want to hear them again, that Tiffany records all that. So we should be able to get a recording too. Okay. All right, Miss Heidi. Okay, this is the board that is now supporting Karen. We've just had a change over. So like Heidi and I introduced at the beginning, She and I have both joined the board as co-presidents. Tracy Mueller has also joined. She's going to be in charge of our volunteers and building membership. Kathy Lambert is still on with us through the end of the year. Tracy Flay is going to remain on with us as well. And we are looking to build out this board as we shared last month. We're looking to get up to at least somewhere between 11 and 15 members, odd number. So for voting purposes, we are looking for an attorney, an accountant. What else are we looking for, Heidi? PR,
Insurance, marketing,
insurance.
yes.
Yes, those specific types of board members, as well as just other dynamic human beings to join us as well. Again, this takes a wealth of volunteers to help with all of this. And we are always looking for those people that would be interested in helping to grow this group and support us specifically on CPW. Heidi and I are going to be stepping away from CPW. So we need people that are going to step in and take over what we're doing. We have Felicia back there from where, tell me again. American Family, Karen's favorite. I'm like, it's something family. She is going to be joining us and helping with the Zoom part of it and the PowerPoint. So we are looking for others as well. So if you know anybody or yourself, reach out to Heidi and I. And I think we have that information. These are the big things that we're looking for in order to grow this group. Definitely a grant writer. I did have a conversation with somebody. She gave me some direction. We need a fundraising expert for CPW. Again, Felicia's going to take over the PowerPoint part of it, but we're looking for the other pieces. And there's Heidi and my information. So please reach out to us. We are building out our marketing team. Michelle was unable to be here today, but we've got Jen Green helping with our new Thrive piece that is going to be integral in growing this group. And then our Be the Change magazine. So we are looking for volunteers to help with all of that. Is Lucy still planning to, Karen, is Lucy still taking over like? Oh, awesome, awesome. So yes, but takes more than one volunteer. So if interested, let us know. All right. And like all nonprofits, donations are what keep us going, keep our doors open, keep us doing the programs that we are doing. So there is our link to share. We need to get a QR code for our slide. So we need to get that done. And last but not least is our change for change. We always have a little box on the table. So whatever change you've got, spare it. We like dollars too. So it doesn't need to just be change. So fill those up for us. And our closing quote for the day, which goes in line with our word of the day, which was enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is the sparkle in your eye, the swing in your gait, the grip of your hand, and the irresistible surge of will and energy to execute your ideas, by Henry Ford. And I think that goes in line with what our authors were talking about today. Don't let anything get in your way and don't worry about the time. It'll show up when it's supposed to. So,
And Missy, Karen wants to speak
yes,
about one of our
I'm gonna
members.
turn this over to Karen.
We are a little bit over, but I'd like to share a couple of things. One of them is I was asked why people were on the panel. I want to say that Heidi talked about Ned being, we brainstormed it. Sally was someone that I wanted on with her experience. I wanted, what is your name? Lady E. Aneezer, what's your name? Lady E, I wanted her because she is not a professional author. She's one of us that wanted to write a book and got it out. It was funny because Sally has these grandkids that she couldn't be here for sure at 9. So one of person that I have admired since I met her through Laura Edwards Ray is Jody. And right after I found out that Sally wouldn't be able to help us, I was like, oh my God, she has a book. Oh my God. Yes. So that's what you're asking. your book is out. Who, you know, when you are up, and I've authored, like, I don't know, 3 books, I think, co-authored. But when that book comes out, it's your baby. And I wanted other people to see the baby, you know? So Ned, he's prolific. He's not like a lot of the authors we're dealing with. He's someone who, that's his life. And I love, huh? What did you say?
He's not pregnant.
He is prolific. And I know his wife, and he is a recovering attorney, entrepreneur, and their relationship, I mean, she is proud of him. And a guy that writes, Felicia, did you get that he's not like just a regular guy? And what about our little, I'm sorry, our guest, the Lance? Oh, okay. We were talking about men and women and CPW. So, and the only other thing I want to say about writing a book and what you guys were saying is, how do criminals get caught a lot? Aren't they caught by a fingerprint that is so unique? Every one of us has a fingerprint. Every one of us is unique in our gifts and our powers. And in writing a book, it will have your unique fingerprint. It will not look or sound, unless you take the book and you literally plagiarize it. So the second thing I wanted to say is, we have this space. We pay all, well, they give us a good rate, but we have all of this space, and seeing any empty seats when, before COVID, we had a good amount of people. After COVID, we've not gotten back. To see these empty seats when we have amazing people showing up, I would like to invite in January that you look at inviting one person, just one person. Oh, but if you want to invite more, you can. And I think we should do a special drawing for anybody that brings, like our Connect 4 that we talked about. And can I also mention the changing from 4th Wednesdays? We are also moving from 4th Wednesdays to the 2nd Wednesday of each month. Hopefully that will work. There's a particular group of women that they also meet on that day, and we're kind of in each other's tribe. So the 2nd Wednesdays starting in January. I also want to give a shout out to Missy and anyone in here that has their software and their marketing. Missy introduced us to a program called Thrive. It's an application or a software, it's on the cloud, and it is unbelievable. I think in 2023, like all of us are busy. I can send you an email, you may not even open it. I send you a Facebook, and that's me too. I'm one of those ones not opening all of my emails. You get a Facebook message and you try to see it, it's got a date on it, but we're going to be able to do everything, even texting, so we can do reminders. Some of my people want, like Catherine Frazier, it's usually a text reminder works really good for Catherine, right? Like I reach out differently. So I want you guys to know that we're looking for that 2023, and we wouldn't have that without our new co-president, Missy. Last. So I do not have permission yet to do this. So when I say what I'm going to say, I'm going to ask you guys, if you want to be involved in it, to take a piece of paper off the table and write yes in your name. There's a woman who has attended our gateway to our CPW a couple of times, I think, and I found out she's homeless. She's not going to tell anybody she's homeless, but she is. And she's working for her down payment. She works 2 jobs. And anyone that would like to help us help her, we figured once a year in December, we did this one year where we collected $600 for a woman whose car broke down. Connections to Success ended up getting her car and giving that $600 to her to pay for insurance and gas. So anybody that might want to help this woman, I just think that what we could, if she allows us to do this, that we can help change her life. She's wonderful and brilliant, and she's one of us. She just happens to be homeless. So that was the thing I wanted to throw out. You just write on the back of the paper, if it's $10, if it's $50, if it's furnishings for her home, which is one of the other things I thought would be really cool, is how much of us have stuff. Like I want to get rid of stuff out of my house. So That's my last thing. Anything else that I'm supposed to do? And I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank you for being on Zoom. And 2023 is going to be our best year yet. Oh, yes, we do. It takes a village.
Does everybody have a raffle ticket? Does anybody not have one or whose birthday is in December?
You get an extra ticket. Okay, we have Ned is donating a set of books. And I also want to say the books are here. You can buy for Christmas presents for your own personal reading. And so one of the things we have for everybody here, if you do not have one, is our Gateway to Dreams little notebook. Why this is really important to me is I love to stay connected to people. This has a little pocket that you can put your business cards in, and you can write in here any notes you have on those people so you can stay connected. And so we'll give those to everybody. Otherwise, we have a Shoes Love Cup. There's another cup in here. And this is anything you want it to be. One woman I know used this as she wrote on it for vacations, another one for something else, but you can use it however you want. That's Gateway to Dreams donations, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna draw 3. And you just, I'm gonna do the last 3 numbers, 3, 3, 4. Yay! So you can pick whatever you want. It's a cup and that this goes with it, a little notebook. Okay, 330. Lady E. And let's see, the last one is 323. Yay. Lady E goes first.
So what if I want the set of books?
Well, you take the set of books.
Can I have a set of books?
You can get the set of books.
Yeah, what's the other thing?
It's all of this, a little notebook and that.
Okay. Well, you know what?